Shot. This is going to be weird. And rated M. This chapter is sponsored by Shonaku. If you ever need someone to burn a ship, or if you just mission Sonic, he will be there for you. And this was completely his idea. A very long time ago there was a group of women, who were called Amazons. They lived with only women and hated men and were much taller than the average human. They had interesting ways, but there was one who thought it as taboo. She was completely against them. Ochako, you don't have a choice, said the leader of the tribe. Why not? You already have plenty of the other girls agreeing to do it. What difference will it make if I just don't do it? Asked Ochako. Ochako, these are our ways. It's how we have survived for centuries and we must do it to continue for generations. If you don't agree you will be banished from the tribe, said the elder. But we've all gone through this, Ochako. I myself as the elder had to do it many times. I never questioned it, and neither does anyone else in this village. I highly suggest you keep this to yourself. Now go, everyone else should be ready, said the elder. Ochako just sighed herself and immediately walked out of the hut. This is bullshit. It's my life, thought Ochako. Hey Ochako, are you ready? Asked one of the other girls named Mina. Yes, said Ochako. Great, we've just finished scouted the ship and there is only about 5 of them. We will have to share one, said another girl named Toru. Let's begin. It's a long walk and we still have no idea how long they shall stay, said the leader Momo. Everyone is already equipped, right? Asked another girl named Juro. I believe so, said Asui. All right, let's go, said Momo. They all left the village behind and began on their quest. About 10 minutes ago. Hey fucking Deku, said Bakugo, the man in charge of the ship. Why yes sir, said Izuku Midoriya, a cabin boy. Did you clean underneath inside the ship yet? Asked Bakugo. No, I just finishing out here and. Then get your lazy ass moving, yelled Bakugo, frightening Izuku, who immediately ran into the ship as the others laughed. Geez, why is he here again? Asked Kaminari. Because he gets paid very little for shitty work, said Kirishima. Maybe we are too hard on him, said Todoroki. Nah, he gets paid to deal with us anyway, said Ojiro. Oi Captain, there appears to be some people coming towards us, said Kaminari. What, are they enemies? Asked Bakugo. It's just a couple of women, naked, said Kaminari with his mouth drooling. Story continues below. Sure enough, there was about 6 different women approaching them. Bakugo immediately went off the ship onto the beach. They were parked nearby. Oi, what the fuck do you want? Asked Bakugo in a very rude manner. Hello boys, we are from a nearby village. We just wanted to stop by and say hi and maybe keep you company, said Momo, squishing her chest in a sexual way. Bakugo, let them on, yelled Kaminari. Why the fuck should I? Asked Bakugo. Oh come on, we are just so lonely, we could definitely use some big strong men, said Asui. Shish walked over to Bakugo and immediately kissed him and started to touch certain places. Fine, get the fuck on board, said Bakugo. Yay, said all the girls except for Ochako. They all got on board and began to have their way with the men. Mina got Kirishima, Momo got Todoroki, Asui got Bakugo, Jiro got Kaminari, and Toru got Ojiro. What about me? Asked Ochako, watching everyone getting late already. We told you, Ochako, we will have to share, said Momo in between moans. Hey round face, there is a boy down in the ship. He probably ain't much use, but if you are impatient go fuck him, said Bakugo, screwing with Asui. Round face, said Ochako. She went over to the door and went down into the ship. Geez, it's cold down here. And being completely nude is worse. Geez, how can they do this so easily? I am so embarrassed, thought Ochako. Thunk. Ochako heard something from behind fall. She turned around to see a boy with green hair staring completely at her. While she is nude, Ochako stared into his eyes. She felt her heart start to beat fast. She watched as the poor guy fainted to the ground. She immediately ran over and lifted his head up. Hey, are you alright? Asked Ochako. He was definitely not going to respond. She picked up the bucket the boy had just dropped with a little bit of water left. She threw the remaining water into his face, waking him up. Asterisk cough. What happened? Asked Izuku. He saw her nude once again and his entire body turned red. Ah, yelled Izuku. Calm down please. Are you alright? Asked Ochako. Why you're naked? Said Izuku. Ochako immediately let go of him and turned away from him. I know, and it's really embarrassing. I didn't mean for you to faint. But I left all my clothes behind, said Ochako. She felt a blanket wrap around her body, although she was pretty big and it didn't cover everything. This should help, said Izuku. Thank you, said Ochako, feeling like she could die from embarrassment. May I ask why you are nude, miss? Asked Izuku. Story continues below. I come from a tribe of only women. When we reach a certain we must find men to mate with and become pregnant. We saw your ship so we got nude to seduce you, also we would have sex and get pregnant. Said Ochako, not looking at him. I am sorry, but I don't do sex without marriage first, said Izuku. Really? That's pretty noble of you, said Ochako. Why yeah, anyway you said we so you aren't alone? Asked Izuku. No, I have some more out there who are currently screwing with your friends, said Ochako. They aren't my friends. They don't treat me well at all, said Izuku. Oh, well my village doesn't treat me that well either. I'm basically just a breeder to them. Worst part is if I had a boy it would be out to death. I honestly want to leave, but if I did I know I won't survive on my own, said Ochako. Why not come with us then? Asked Izuku. Come with you? Asked Ochako. Sure, I mean if you hate it so much then there is no reason for you to stay, said Izuku. That is true, but why would you do that for me? Asked Ochako. Because I know what it's like to be hated. Although honestly I don't own a home and this job doesn't pay well, so I don't know where exactly we would go, said Izuku. He found himself being hugged by Ochako in a tight grip. Thank you. I will gladly come with you. If you don't have a home we can still live together, said Ochako. Is this what love feels like? Ochako questioned to herself. Due to being taller than him, she has completely planted his head right into her boobs. He started to turn blue. Ochako could feel him tapping out on her arm. Oh God, I'm so sorry, said Ochako, releasing the poor boy. As he got his breathing back to normal, his face went from blue to red. I can still taste her, thought Izuku, burning in embarrassment. Anyway, what's your name? Asked Ochako. Izuku Midoriya, said Izuku. My name is Ochako, Midoriya, smiled Ochako. What's your last name? Asked Izuku. Don't got one. We don't really care about last names, said Ochako. Oh, I see, said Izuku. But I'll gladly take yours, said Ochako. IW what? Asked Izuku. We can marry each other and start a family together and everything. Said Ochako excited. Why would we do that? Asked Izuku now even more embarrassed. Because I am experiencing love with you, said Ochako. That's way too fast, said Izuku. What do you mean? Asked Ochako. Don't you know how relationships work? Asked Izuku. Not really. It's not like we have any in our village. I've only read books about marriage and things like that, said Ochako. Story continues below. Well, I mean, you're supposed to get to know each other first and talk, and after a while then you marry, said Izuku. Okay, let's just do that, said Ochako. Suddenly they heard the door open up. Ochako called out Mina. Are those yo? Ochako immediately grabbed a hold of Izuku and shoved him straight into the closet. Ochako, what are you doing? Asked Mina. Jay just finished fucking the boy, said Ochako lying. Is he dead? Asked Toru. Yes he is. Killed right after he finished inside me, said Ochako sweating nervously. Where's the body? Asked Jiro. There was a window so I threw the body out so if anyone comes they will think the ship is abandoned, said Ochako. Alright, well we finished up as well. Let's get going, said Momo. I'm going to stay a little longer. See if anything useful is here that will help the village, said Ochako. Alright, at least the elder will be happy, said Asui. They all left and Ochako opened the closest door back open. Are you alright, Midoriya? Asked Ochako helping him up. Yes, but kill me. You're supposed to kill me. Asked Izuku. Yes, I'm sorry. It's the way of us, we're supposed to mate and then kill the one who we mated with once their DNA is planted inside of us women. I'm sorry but I can't kill you, said Ochako. Does that mean everyone outside is dead? Asked Izuku. Quote. Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't do anything to stop it, or we would both be dead, said Ochako. It's not like I like them or anything. But that's still pretty sad. And I know it's not your fault, Ochako, said Izuku. So, where now? I don't really know anywhere other than around here, and it's mostly jungle, said Ochako. I know there is some civilization a couple of kilometers from here. We can go there, said Izuku. You know how to steer a boat? Asked Ochako. It's something you have to learn if you want to get a job on a boat. And luckily this boat isn't that big so it shouldn't be that hard. But let's do something about your attire, said Izuku, not turning back to regular color anytime soon. He led her to his room, which wasn't big at all. This is your room? Asked Ochako. Yeah, I don't have any bras or underwear. Just wait a second, said Izuku. He brought out several pieces of cloth, needles, and some other things needed to make clothes. If you don't mind. I have to measure you, said Izuku. Go ahead, said Ochako. After a very awkward situation for Izuku, he got her measurements and he went straight to work. He crafted some clothes that would fit her and gave them to her to put on in a matter of hours. How do I look? Asked Ochako in her new clothes. Be beautiful, said Izuku in a trance from her beauty now that he wasn't focused on the rest of her body. Thanks, now let's get going, said Ochako. Story continues below. They went up deck and Izuku explained the basics to her. She helped him raising and lowering the sails as well as keeping an eye out for anything in the water that could harm their ship. After a few hours of traveling on the water, Izuku docked the ship at a dock. "We have arrived," said Izuku. "What are we going to do first?" asked Ochako. "Well, the captain owned this ship but he's dead now so he won't need it. I'll guess we will leave it here and if anyone wants it they can have it," said Izuku. They got off the ship getting into the dock and walked through passing by several people. "Now the only problem is we don't have any money, other than what was on the ship but it won't last more than a few days. Do you have any skills that could make money?" asked Izuku. "I'm sorry but what is money?" asked Ochako. "Oh right. Well, it's basically something you trade to get something in return. If we don't have any we won't survive. And so we need to do stuff to earn some," said Izuku. "Oh, I know," said Ochako, pulling out a knife. Later, Ochako jumped from the top of a tree onto a young buck, stabbing it repeatedly until it died. "I got it," called out Ochako. "Nice. Now we just have to tan it and we can sell its skin," said Izuku. "Leave it to me," said Ochako. She used her knife once more and immediately skinned the deer. As Izuku watched, he tried not to throw up. After finishing up, Izuku and Ochako took the skin into town and sold it, getting a decent amount of money in return. "So this is money," said Ochako, holding some of it in her hands. "Yep. Now we can afford a hotel room. If you keep this up then we could probably afford a house," said Izuku. "And then we can live together," said Ochako. "Why yeah sure," said Izuku. Later that night, Izuku laid in the bathtub soaking in the water. "Man, I haven't had a bath since I got on that boat, which was nearly 2 weeks ago. This feels really nice," thought Izuku. He lowered his face halfway into the water, leaving his nose above so he could still breathe. "Ochako seems pretty nice. She is definitely new to big places like this and men. And apparently love as well. I don't love her. But maybe I will someday. It's not like I have much experience with love either," thought Izuku. After finishing with his bath, he let Ochako go first. He came into the hotel room to find Ochako passed out on the bed with her head on a pillow and her feet almost touching the floor. And she was laying flat on the bed. "Geez, she is huge. I was always told men often get taller than women. I guess it's cause she is a Amazon woman," thought Izuku, laying down in the bed. "There is barely any room for me," thought Izuku. He felt his body was about to split into two when Ochako randomly grabbed him in his sleep and held him close to her like a teddy bear. Only this teddy bear wasn't made from cotton. The next day, "So what's for today?" asked Ochako. "Well, first we can have breakfast," said Izuku, who woke up only a few minutes ago. "So what are we having?" "Squished bugs, rabbit, squirrel," asked Ochako as her stomach growled in hunger. And no, first we have to do some shopping," said Izuku. They both got dressed and left the hotel and bought everything they needed. Izuku had to hold Ochako's hand the whole time because she wanted to wander around and go sightseeing. "Alright, now just leave this to me," said Izuku. After a while of some cooking, he served Ochako her breakfast. Ochako was curious and hesitant at first. "What is this called?" asked Ochako, using her fork to poke the eggs. "It's called eggs. Try it," said Izuku with his own plate. Ochako used her fork, which even that took a little bit of training to use, and picked up her eggs and ate them. "This is amazing," said Ochako, swallowing the rest of them. "Glad you like them," So my idea is that you will be hunting for a while, and once we get enough money I can buy some supplies and make some clothes and sell them, said Izuku. Sounds great to me. And then we can get married, said Ochako. While I'm at it I need to explain relationships in more depth, said Izuku. And so for the next few months Ochako would go and hunt animals for their skin and bring them back, and Izuku would sell them. Ochako, we have way more enough. Now we just have to sell them, said Izuku. How do we do that? Asked Ochako. Well, I think it's best that we use the rest of the money and buy a tailor store. That way we will sell more, said Izuku. And so they bought a store and began to sell clothes while Ochako did a little bit more hunting just in case. Ochako, we are selling very well, said Izuku. That's wonderful, said Ochako. Anyway, do you remember you kept saying that we would get married? Asked Izuku. Yes, I do, said Ochako. Well, I still don't think that's a good idea, said Izuku. Huh, oh, I understand, said Ochako, disappointed. But, how about we take it slowly and you can be my girlfriend? Asked Izuku, blushing. What that? Asked Ochako. After a long explanation Ochako agreed to it. Alright, said Ochako. Can you bring your head here for a second? Asked Izuku. Ochako lowered her head to his and Izuku unexpectedly kissed her lips. What was that? Asked Ochako. It's called a kiss. It's how two people who love each other show their love. What did you think? Asked Izuku. It felt pretty nice. Can we do it again, Midoriya? Asked Ochako. Sure. And also Ochako, you can use Izuku, said Izuku. Okay, Izuku, said Ochako. They shared yet another kiss. After a few months Izuku finally agreed to marry Ochako and they had 2 kids together. What did you think, Shonaku?
Finally, we can relate. Our side by side, this is vain. I knew all along we'd find some way to come.